Hey everybody, and welcome back to a little bit of a different thing. So, in my last few videos, I've obviously talked about the person who I'm working with on customizing Mike Ruff from Ruff Figures, and I decided to share with you basically the next top 11 uh, custom elite figures I want to have made. I'm gonna start out with Billy Kidman. I know Billy Kidman's not the safest ring worker. I did enjoy his invasion time a little bit and whatnot. I did like this style. I liked when him and Paul London teamed up, won the tag belts. His shooting star press was, very, very, was a bowling shoe ugly, as some people would say. But I did like his WrestleMania. I've watched the WrestleMania pay per view so many times back when I had on VCR back in the day, on VHS, I should say, on my VCR, till literally the copy became nothing but blue. You hear sound, but it's all blue. It's like literally been wiped away. I've watched it so many times on, play through, and then it records after it reaches the end. So unfortunately, it's gone. Of course, I have DVD version of it now, but I always like the cruiserweights. Again, being that I'm 6'10", I don't get to be a cruiserweight. No matter how much I try, I always like their high flying style. But this gear is sick. And so, since Mattel, even though Billy Kidman works for WWE, but under a Legends deal, they won't try to get him signed or anything like that. And we have the cruiserweight title, but we have very limited cruiserweights from that era represented. I went to him and said, hey, could this Billy Kidman be possible? Um, of course, he works wonders. He can do pretty much anybody and everybody. He even finds ways to shrink down the heads. I don't know if he gets it from somebody else, but like I got a Lance Storm that literally looks like the Lance Storm from the Jax days as far as like the head, except for it shrank down to fit with the Mattel body. So kudos to however he does that or whoever he knows that does that. So this one definitely top one. In fact, uh, Paul London won that Battle Royal thing, but Billy Kidman's right behind him. I've already set aside the funds. I like this bluish gold look to it. I know it says Kidman in the back, so I mean I gotta find a reference shot for that one. But as soon as he does get a hold of me, and as soon as my paycheck comes in, which payday's coming up shortly, this one's definitely in the queue to be commissioned. Um, Finding white elbow pads, knee pads, he's gonna probably have to paint those things because I don't. I'm trying to think if there's anybody with white elbow pads like that. I mean, back then there was a CM Punk figure that might work if he has them, but I'll let him work his magic. Normally, I'd like if he had like the color in the middle, but he didn't do that with this one. This is literally WrestleMania 20 attire, so I'm looking forward to that one. Then two other guys that I feel like definitely I've heard people clamoring we should get Crash Holly one day. Why is he not yet? Obviously, contracts, negotiations, estates, interest. As the years go on, it seems like less and less interest in him. But I like that tire. I have the Titantron Live Jax figure of that one. The only thing I don't like is the arm only does this. It's like the first version of that, but they never made a Crash Holly where he's like really playable because the only thing you can do with that arm is turn it this way to do that little weird chin thing, and that's it. Like, why couldn't we get a regular normal one? I used to take his head and pop it onto a Hardcore Holly body to kind of get a playable Crash Holly. So having a custom Crash Holly built, and he does really well with the cruiserweights. I've gotten a few from him, and very impressed with the style. He doesn't sit there and just slap together a bunch of parts and call it a day. Crash Holly with the customizer is not going to come out 7 feet tall. So I'm looking forward to that one. Hardcore Holly, I did have a version elite custom of this one with that gear, but it did use the Jack's head. The body didn't look right. It started to show a little bit of cracking near the legs, and I was like, nah, I'm just gonna seal this up and sell it, and I did, and I got some of my money back. I didn't get whatever, but it wasn't for my customizer. So seeing how he's done Hardcore Hollies and how he's found people who have to shrink the head, I'm gonna be ecstatic when that one shows up as well, or when I order that one. Then a few other ones, more challenging, if you will. I did talk about one Kid Cash, and of course, he can do great tattoo work. Does he want to do the great tattoo work? I did custom commission a Shannon Moore figure when he only had one sleeve, kind of starting up with a few tattoos. So, and he kind of was like, okay, fine, fine, But I was like, well, I don't want the poser, spiked hair punk look. I don't need that one. We'll go with right before that. But this Kid Cash, if he could do this, I'd be impressed. A lot of detail to it. Obviously, this is his Pit Bulls kind of redo. But man, how sick would that attire look in figure form? Of course, you'd have to mold the head to have short hair because the only Jakks one they had was a long-haired one. But I mean, he can do it. Nathan Jones, I saw he's done a few of those. I've seen somebody also has one right now, but the head's a little too smiley. It's a little too high up on the peg. So, and I mean, yeah, you can see his head sticks a little bit high up on his shoulders anyway. But the smiliness, if it wasn't smiling, if it was like straight faced, I probably would buy that one. But I'm definitely gonna get Nathan Jones. I'm definitely gonna get people who don't have action figures. I mean, if I'm paying the prices I'm paying, I'm gonna get people who don't exist in the action figure world, and they should have. I feel like another one, Elijah Burke. Didn't really care for the Pope D'Angelo Dinero and TNA run. I actually liked his Elijah Burke run, and the red's been done. The blue was done only in that 3 or 4 inch style. So I mean, if he can deliver on it, I'm trying to think back. I never got an African American figure from him yet. Not being racist or anything like that. Just saying I haven't got one yet. But there is talks of Ahmed Johnson, of course, and Elijah Burke, and a few other ones. Oh yeah, there we go, Marcus Corvon. If he can do a gold color and find a way to draw that, I mean, I don't think he just does plaster over images from a printer. I think he actually hand draws this stuff. I was looking at some of the custom work, and I'm going to be reviewing his custom works starting in October when a couple more show up. I've commissioned Al Snow, I've commissioned Rene Dupree, I've commissioned Wrath. I even commissioned a Vito. I'm thinking that it's something he's never done before, but he told me, "Oh, I'm doing a WCW version of him." Well, I want the WWE version. I guess I'm a sucker for the WWE look. And he's done a Jeff Jarrett with me before. In fact, I had a Jeff Jarrett, then the Ultimate got announced, so I sold the Jeff Jarrett, and then the Ultimate got canceled, so I need another Jeff Jarrett. And I'm hoping he can do this TNA look. He does really good with the WCW looks, but I feel like I'd want this more gold, white, silverish attire from Jeff Jarrett. I like them in their prime world champion looks, and you can see right here he's got the NWA title. They get more prime than that. Perry Saturn. I was negotiating doing a Perry Saturn early on. He kind of winced at me about, yeah, I can do Perry. It's a lot of tattoo work. And I said, okay, well, let's take it easy. You're working on a lot of stuff, but just know that you got to save up one day because I'm going to want a Perry Saturn. It doesn't have to be in this fully decked out tattoo stuff. If that's easier, do that. If it's easier doing that than doing all of these tattoos, I can accept that. But I think I'm going to go with this red and it looks like white attire. Might be a yellowish attire as well. I'm not sure. I'm going to try to find better shots of it. But definitely want to get Perry Saturn. Why we don't have a Perry Saturn in any form, I mean, the guy is a hero. If people don't know this, he stopped 2 men from kidnapping a woman, got shot in the neck, I think once or twice. I'm not exactly 100%. I know it's at least once or twice, and still subdued them for the cops to arrive. The guy's a former Army Ranger. Now, of course, he fell in hard times. I think he was into drugs. He looks rough. So somebody reach out and offer this man some money for his likeness. I mean, he is a former European champion. We need more European champions. Very pivotal part in the mid card of WCW. Very vital in the Radicals. Of course, we're never getting Benoit, but we had a Dean Malenko, and we've gotten countless Eddies. Why not Perry Saturn? Give Perry a chance. And then, of course, Luther Reigns. My camera's blocking the picture, but Luther Reigns is Luther Reigns. It's literally black trunks, black knee pads, black short boots. The head, I'm sure you can shrink down the head a little bit. It wouldn't be probably the hardest thing to do. You just have to find the right parts. And I have full faith in the guy. He could find the right parts. I had a Luther Reigns figure a long time ago. It was just basically Jack's head on just a stone cold looking body with the tattoo removed. It worked okay, but eventually, if for some reason I got out of I don't want unauthentic figures. Whereas now as I'm older, I'm like, okay, we're not seeing any new people being produced, hardly ever. And we're not seeing these old school guys that I kind of grew up with a little bit. I mean, I didn't grow up, they weren't my childhood because I was a teenager by the time these guys started, coming into the limelight. But we're not seeing any of these guys. The Ruthless Aggression era was literally all just repeats or repaints of guys who already had other versions. So I'm thinking to myself, if I want to enjoy elite version of these guys, I'm gonna have to have someone customize and make them. So that's what I'm doing. Now this one is the last one, and I have a Mark Jindrak. Of course, he was supposed to be part of the Evolution. It didn't quite turn out that way because him and Randy Orton were too mature when they were hanging out together, so they kind of split them apart. And I was looking through, and I was like, okay, he's got an all gold and black Jack specific figure, but I've got Sean O'Haire, I've got Chuck Palumbo. This Mark Jindrak, I just like orange and black. I mean, obviously, Taz should be a favorite of mine. I like this color scheme. The wrestler's cool, but I didn't really grow up watching ECW. But this attire right here, if he can knock this out, if he can do some shiny silver on orange and black, obviously you got a little bit of tattoo work on the arm there. I'm not asking for his, lucha, whatever gear. I know it was down south, winning titles down there when as Marco Corleone or something like that. And no, that's not the Rene Dupree I'm getting. I'm getting the black attire one. But this Mark Jindrak just looks so sick. I mean, it would look so sick as an action figure form. The colors would pop really well. So, and then of course I had 3 shots because I sent them to him. I said, hey, this is probably going to be on the docket too. But he's got to have silver knee pads. He always wrestled with his trunks, his knee pads being the same color. The main base. So it's got to be silver. It can't be black. It's got to be silver because even on his jacks, they got that right. He had gold attire. His knee pads were gold. So I look forward to these showing up. I look forward, to starting to, him start working on these. I'm still waiting on the stuff to arrive. He told me Jerry Lynn was done, except for the decals. Told me Canyon's going to take a little bit longer. That's unfortunate, but okay. But then we, of course, still got Shannon Moore. Still got Chris Harris, Wildcat Chris Harris. And we still got S.A. Rios? S.A. Rios has already been started. Oh, Steve Carino's already been paid for, too. So I can't wait for those 5, and then I've still got 5 that already started, and then I've got another 5 that are in the queue. Queue means I haven't started the process by paying the processing fee yet, but I'm kind of waiting. I told him, I said, I'll send the other money once I see the final photos before you ship them to me. And that's how we're going to kind of do that operation, because I'm not just going to blindly send him thousands of dollars over the course of the year without seeing any product coming in first. But when it does, look forward to my channel. Look forward to more custom figure reviews. It will be elite style, not ultimates, but maybe down the pipeline more ultimates. I'm always checking. I'm always looking. I saw an ultimate Chris Jericho that I almost snagged, but then I realized it was like the AEW arms on the ultimate body, and though the skin tones matched, there was too much gappage on the sides, and I was like, that reminds me of those FTC Bull James figures where literally you have to keep shoving the arm sockets back in and they just fall back out within a matter of a day. So not going for that. But you never know. Maybe that Sean O'Haire comes through. Till next time.